We need to make friends with our ego. We need to make friends with our dark part. We need it to work with us, because the moment that you start to talk to, like, oh man, like my head's doing this and I have these two arguments on either side, you are creating division within the self.
Just a little taster of what is coming up on the show. But first, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. And also tell your friends and family about this podcast. Please let us know in the comments if you would like to hear any particular topic in relation to sleep or health. And I will create a show especially for you, just for asking the question. So let's get on with the show.
Before we start today's video, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.
Welcome everybody to another Empowering Family Health podcast. Today I am so super excited. This is going to be an incredible conversation I'm going to have with my friend Cody. What I forgot now, Wasial. What's the, how do you pronounce it? Wasial. Oh my God, I forgot already. Wasial. Okay, got to remember that. Wasial. So Cody, before I bring you in and start having our amazing conversation, I'm going to read out your bio to give everybody an idea of who you are, this incredible person. So Cody, she is the Cody Factor. Love that fame name. Cody is the founder and the creator of Soul Sprout. Speaking to the seeds of your soul and igniting the fire within. Oh my God, goosebumps already. She is an inspirational speaker, a certified intuitive transformational life coach, and a trained movement medicine facilitator of TranscenDance TM. Oh my God, there's loads there. Cody brings to the world repeatable, reliable tools to help empower others, be it remembering how to dream again, very important, or to begin discovering your passion and your purpose. So many people are not aware of what their purpose is, be it big or small, or to up-level your business, your personal life and health, or to cultivate a deeper self-love that's missing in a lot of people's lives. Cody has the experience and she has the ability to support you on your life journey. Cody has been featured on many stages like the Mind, Body, Soul Expo of New York as the MC and movement medicine DJ, and she has brought TranscenDance to multiple retreats, including her own. Her most noteworthy accomplishment is who she became in the process of all her experiences, allowing her to now be there for, or to be here rather, for others, to serve others, and to help them find their passion and their purpose and walk with more peace and grace in the chaos of the world. Cody, come in and say hello. You're very welcome.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having me here.
I am so excited. You're just such a bubbly person, Cody, and so much fun. And we've spoke a few weeks ago, and I watched some of your interviews, and you're just sparkling with joy and oozing with life. And this is what I love about you, because you can rub off so many people. And we're going to talk all about energy and, you know, keeping your vibration up and how to become aware of who you are and how this can help you to change your mood and how you're feeling. And that's very, very important, because there's a lot of people in the world that are struggling, that are suffering. And I think the whole topic of this conversation is to really empower people to realize, to become more aware that they can change this situation, change this reality of their life. So Cody, before we dive into the conversation, just to give people an idea, tell us the background, tell us your story, because it is very, it's very funny actually, but I know it's part of your life journey and the reason why you're doing what you're doing today, but just to give us an idea of your experiences and what you've been through and where this has led you to be today.
Yeah, so briefly, I was always the child who would ask questions. I was always like, what do you mean? How come?
Oh
Well,
no.
why? You know, that was me. My mom called me her hold your breath child.
Oh God.
And I remember being in a grocery store once, and this woman had the oxygen in her nose. And I said, hey, lady, what is that in your nose? And she goes, it's oxygen. And I said, well, what's oxygen? She goes, it's the air you breathe. I said, well, if you take that out of your nose, there's a whole bunch of oxygen out here. And so that's the kind of girl I am.
Straightforward, straight to the point. Yeah, I love it.
It started off very, very young. And so, constantly seeking truth, seeking different experiences. I am entrepreneurial by nature, so I built my own businesses. The latest one being Cody's Cozy Pals, which was a doggy daycare boarding facility that I ran and operated for over 15 years.
Wow.
And little did I know that picking up dog poop was going to set me up for this amazing adventure. I began to feel a longing, a discontent, like, is this it? Is this all I'm meant for? And after building it and having over 4,000 clients and 150 workers over the course of 15 years, I did the scary leap and I sold it. I sold it to answer the newest calling, which was Soul Sprout, speaking to the seeds of your soul and igniting the fire within. I had no idea what I was going to do. I went off to California to some crazy event called Dream Builder Live. And this woman got on stage and I was like, oh, I'm her. She's me. Okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. Didn't know what I was supposed to do with it, but I knew what I was supposed to do. And so after watching these people move and, dance and sing in unison during break times, and I was very confused and very uncomfortable. So after multiple uncomfortable situations, I found myself comfortable everywhere and in everything.
Wow.
I started to take all of these practices that I was learning and bridge them together, bring in my own story. And then all of a sudden I was being more and more me every day, and life got more and more easy and more comfortable. And I was like, Then I added movement medicine in. Movement medicine allowed me to deepen my self-love and help me get into this whole space of healing my own body, listening to it, feeling sexy again, confident again. I had always been more in my masculine, do, create the business, make things happen, and I was like, what do you mean there's a woman inside here? Like, what? Like, let me just do it and get it done. Like, get, I had shut down my emotions for the longest time. And all of these things helped me to come back to myself.
Wow.
To be balanced, to do all of that. So there was a bunch of scary steps to get here, and they get less and less scary each and every day. Now the jumps, when I feel them, they're not so terrifying. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I can really hear what you're saying about the balance in the masculine and the feminine as well. And even though we're females, we all have an element of masculine and feminine, and obviously one of them is more dominant or whatever, but I think it's important to have them balanced because they both serve a purpose, really, don't they?
Yes, they do. The masculine energy is very do.
Action.
Go. It's problem solving. The feminine energy is very flow. It's receiving. It's sometimes chaotic but beautiful. It's the nectar. And when you don't have both in a balance, you're gonna feel that imbalance. It's going to show up in the outside in your life. It's going to show up in your relationships. It's going to show up in your job. It's going to show up in all of those things. And when we're able to start to balance it, we feel more and more like ourselves, more and more relaxed, because we're not in this struggle.
It's interesting when you talk about being relaxed and up and in the struggle. And in your bio, the last sentence I read out was, all these experiences that you've had has allowed you to be here for others, to help them find their passion and purpose, and to walk with more peace and grace. And those two words really struck me, especially grace. And grace is actually a power word that I chose for 2023 to stand inside of, right? And I'm really hearing what you're saying about letting life flow, and it's so much more easier, because for many of us, including myself, we try to control life. We try to make it happen. We work very hard to override what is actually happening, and I think we resist an awful lot in life. And with grace for me personally is to allow life as it is. It's like, to use a really simple analogy, like it's raining outside, okay? And a lot of people will go, oh, damn, I'm going to get wet or whatever. So they're complaining, right? So they're resisting that it's raining outside. Whereas instead of having an attitude of with grace to allow it, because that's what is, we can't change what is. Okay. I know this sounds really philosophical, but this is the nature of everything. And when we can go with that flow, then there's no struggle. There's no resistance. There's no complaining, and everything can flow so much easier, and we can be in a better place as well. So I love that you use that word grace, and it's a very strong word for me. It's a very poignant word for me personally.
Yeah. You know, grace to me is the space where we're able to have compassion.
Yeah.
It's the space where we're able to, like you were saying with the rain comes and waters the earth, that nurtures the food that we eat, that cleanses and clears. The rain is welcomed. Without the rain, there's no growth.
Love that.
So when you shift your perspective, we are programmed. If you watch TV, if you've been to school, if you have a parent or a mentor or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, you know, or even if you grew up in a foster system, whatever your environment was,
Your
or
friends even. Yeah. Teenagers, peer
yeah,
pressure.
yeah, your environment is your product. So you're learning from that space.
Mm-hmm.
So that repetition is something then you begin to operate from. Except, did you choose it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you choose your operating system? Like you go out and you buy a MacBook Pro or you buy a Windows operated system, you're choosing what system you want to operate with. But when you're born to these people and these places and these situations, these are not your choices. These are what you're subject to.
Yeah, where we're pure when we're born, innocent, pure. And it's through the process of life where I call it been domesticated. That's what I call it, been domesticated, like an animal, you know, the way an animal is domesticated and tamed, programmed, right? And yeah, you're right. And everybody is subjected to this. And, you know, and this is who we become. And this is how we're conditioned and what we believe. It's our beliefs. And so talk to us, Cody, about these belief systems that we have. And as we go forward in life, how does this take us away from who we really are? Like, what's happening? Because I think everybody experiences this on some level. So what is it that we need to be aware of?
Yeah. So the best part that you can do this is by asking yourself questions. You know, does this serve me? Is this who I want to be? Do I even like this? Those are the first questions, you know?
The ability to rest is the body's key to healing. Do you struggle with getting asleep at nighttime or staying asleep during the night and waking up the next morning feeling absolutely exhausted? My book, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep, is easy to understand, it's solution-based, and it's packed with research to help you take back control of your night's sleep. My book is available on Amazon, and it's also available on howtogetaggoodnightsleep.com. This book is also available in audio and ebook. So get your copy today and start having the best night's sleep that you've only ever dreamed of.
Our parents, don't be angry with them. They did the best that they could with what they had.
Absolutely.
It's not our job to be mad or point fingers. This is your fault that I am the way that I am. Though I will say I went through that too. It is also a space of healing, right? When I first found out that I was a product of my environment, I was like, how could you do this to me?
Yeah.
Ah!
You're supposed to love me.
But the truth is they did love me, and they do love me, and they love me to the best of their ability, and they didn't know either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's our job at that point, when we have that awareness, to then say, okay, beautiful. This is what I was given in my toolbox. What tools work for me and what ones don't? And then how can I begin to empty out those tools and replace them with the ones that I love?
Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. I love what you say about the parents, and it's not their fault, and they do intentionally do the best that they can. And I always say to people, parenting doesn't come with a manual, right? It's, you just go through life, you know, and you do the best that you can. And I'm all about empowering families, and I'm especially passionate about children as well, right? I think the challenges that we have nowadays are very difficult, and with tech moving so fast and all the challenges and the way the economy is going and all this sort of thing. And for us as parents, we know what we know when we grew up as children, and it's very different to what it is now, right? So it's even more challenging for parents, right? But I think the children, it's very important for the children to really have a happy and healthy childhood, right? And I'm really calling out to this whole area. And this is why I put on this podcast, to help empower parents, because I believe children, they're so innocent and they're so vulnerable, and they just believe, because that's how their brains are wired from a young age, right? And nature done this intentionally. So this is a big area that I'm really, really passionate about. And what I call to parents is to have an understanding and to have a space for their children to allow them to be in the present moment. I think we can learn an awful lot from children as well, by the way, because they really do live in the moment. And an example I always give is, I remember one day I was washing the dishes and my daughter came over to me and said, Mommy, look at this, what I did in school. And I said, give me 5 minutes till I finish washing the dishes, because my hands are wet, and I'll be with you then. So I finished what I was doing, went over to her and I said, now show me what you want to show me. And she said, it doesn't matter anymore. And she wasn't being mean or nasty about it, and she just lost interest. And I was like, I was good. So children live in the moment. So whenever your children, and the message that we're giving to our children is, you're not important right now. Subliminally, that's the message. So I think when you're talking about awareness, to be aware that this is what's going on for our children, and you know, even how you interact with people as well. But what would you say to that when it comes to children, and even what we can learn from children? I think it's a really special area.
Children are our greatest mirrors, because it's a part of us that we often shut down. It's actually the first one we shut down, because we have to be adults now. And really, and what I've found is, you can be the wise woman, you can be the nurturer, you can be the professional, you can be the silly person, and you can be the ridiculous child. And you can be all of those things and be successful and be loved and be revered and be looked upon, you know, as a change agent of the world, or whatever it is that you're looking to do. You don't have to hide behind the adult wall. Our children show us that. You know, our animals show us that. The now moment of the excitement. And yeah, even in that minute where you're saying, oh, and I told her, just give me a minute. It wasn't even a big deal in our minds, because people have done that to us.
Yeah.
But in the moment of our excitement, we're looking for that confirmation in the outside environment that says, I'm like, look at what I did. And the outside environment goes, nah. Or the outside environment says, oh, put it up here, let me see. Oh, it likes it. It's encouraging that part.
Yeah.
Kids can be shown by all of your actions. From the time they're 1 to 7, they're in a theta wave.
Mm-hmm.
They are spongy, taking it all in. Your best opportunity with them is to play.
Yes.
Be with them, play with them. Let that part of you back out. Yes, I know in the parenting, you want to keep them safe, and you want to, you know, and there's a balance there, of course, but there is a better way than squashing everything.
Yeah.
You know, where you can build the children up and allow them to, you know, oh, you drew that? Oh, you didn't draw inside the lines.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
I went to the Pablo Picasso exhibit in Nashville, and I had named my cat after Pablo Picasso. I had studied art and photography in college, and I went to this exhibit, and I'm, you know, and here's these, you know, $1 million paintings, right? Like people, you know, and they're all there. And I'm looking at them, I'm going, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
The canvases he used, they were used. You could see pencil lines through them. The paint was cracking. They're aged. They're messy. They're all wonky. And I'm looking at, like, I'm getting able to get real close. I'm looking at the detail of them. I'm like, he's famous for this? Even though I had revered and loved it, when I got to see them in person, I was kind of like, wow, all right. And I had to check myself.
It says a lot. Yeah.
Right? Because the judgment came in, because my analytical mind came into that. And then I was immediately able to draw awareness to it and say, this is great. He was able to just express himself the way that he wanted to on whatever he had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing whatever he could with what he had. And now his art is revered all around the world decades after he has passed.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, that's what you can support your children in.
Yeah. Yeah, and
outside the lines,
letting them express this, let them express themselves, right? Because that's their natural nature of who they are, right? And the minute we start putting conditions on them, that gets dampened down, and their true identity gets dampened down as well, right? And I did a creative art session there just recently, and it wasn't about drawing the painting right. It was the expression part of it, and it was actually a trauma coach who brought us through this process. So it's a great tool for people to use in order to express themselves through art as opposed to words, because we can't articulate sometimes. Some of us can't. So it's another modality that people can use. But I loved what you said about parents as well, about being strict and, you know, having all the boundaries and all the rules and all the rest. But I think what's missing with a lot of parents is having a bit of fun, because that makes life a lot easier, because our vibration is raised a bit higher, and all the stresses and strains tend to dissolve away when we have a bit of fun. So I think we can utilize our children in that way and be with our children. I think there is a purpose for our children. Like, it's not all about guiding them and taking care, and we're so responsible for our children. They can teach us so many things in life as well. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. I remember there was this one time, and so I used to play with Barbies, and Barbie wanted to go on a ski trip. And so in my room, I had a fan and I had a whole bunch of powder, and my parents were, I don't know, doing something downstairs with music and blah, blah, blah. And so I was upstairs just on my own in my bedroom playing, having a good time. And I created a ski slope. Barbie needed snow. And so I took the powder and I squeezed it into the fan and all over the room.
Oh God.
I had a navy blue carpet. The snow didn't go where I thought it was gonna. All my stuffed animals were dusty. I mean, my room was just a hot mess.
Or it looked cool.
And I'm in there having a good old time. And my mom comes in and says, Cody, it's time for dinner. Ah!
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, well, they create big memories, don't they?
They do. And so the thing is in that moment, you know, my mom's response was, what did you do? We have to clean this room. It's a mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if my mom's,
yeah.
What if any mom's response or dad's response was, let's play in it. It's already there. The mess has already happened. You're going to have to pick it up.
Yeah.
But what if you play in it for a minute? What if you play in the mess for a minute and then afterwards say, okay, listen, this was really fun. And now we also need to understand that the cleanup is a lot of work. So next time you want to do something like this, why don't you ask for my help so we can create it together?
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant, Brenda. Yeah, a change of attitude, because the minute you start giving out to your child, you're making them wrong, and then they're not good enough. And we all have an element of that feeling of not being good enough, not being worthy. There's a lot of that around at the moment. So this is where part of where this comes from. Tell us, Cody, you know, when it comes to, you talked about when you went to California and the lady on stage mirrored you. Tell us about that. Tell us about how we are mirrored in other people, because this is a big area that I was awakened to myself personally.
So for me, when I was searching, I would always find something that would spark something. And I'd be like, ooh.
You're very curious, aren't you?
So it's again with the childlike curiosity. It's that, So when this woman was speaking, I could see myself. I was like, oh. So if we get out of our minds for a moment and we actually drop into how we feel. So our heart is 5,000 times stronger than our mind. Our energy field of the heart is 5,000 times stronger than our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and wrap your mind around that.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's hugely, so that frequency and that force comes out and around you and is picking up all the things. And then when you're in the space with that someone who's mirroring back to you, that love, that passion, that purpose, and you're able to begin to discern which part is you and which part is them. You start to see like, oh, okay, I see in her the part of me that I haven't cultivated yet, but I can see it. When people come and they come to TranscenDance, or they're like, Cody, what do you do? I want what you have. I want that. And I'm like, well, hold on, let me put it in a box and send it to you. If I could, I would, but that's not how it works exactly. But what it is what they're seeing is in me, they're seeing joy, peace, grace. They're seeing curiosity. They're seeing adventure. They're seeing self-love. They're seeing all of the things that their true higher self desires to give themselves. And they want it.
So they value these qualities.
They value them. What then happens is they get back into the mind. When they're in the feel, you're feeling it. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to feel that way. I want what you have. Oh, that person has what I desire to have. I feel it. I can feel that. And then they walk away from that. And then they're brought back into their mind of the regular day. And the mind says, we don't have time for that. You need insurance. No, you can't do that. You're not smart enough.
So this is the voice inside the head, the ego, the egoic self.
Yeah. And it's going to try to keep you where you're comfortable. It's going to try to stop you from living in your purpose. It's going to, not because, and listen, we need to make friends with our ego. We need to make friends with our dark part. We need it to work with us. Because the moment that you start to talk to like, oh man, like my head's doing this and I have these two arguments on either side, you are creating division within the self. You're not working together.
Yeah. There's resistance. I always say to people, when it comes to the voice inside the head and the ego, I always say, listen to that voice, even though it's not always correct. Listen to it because there's something that it's afraid of. So there's a fear that you need to overcome. And it's a clue. It's a clue of what's in the way there that needs to be looked at. It's something that's not been seen. So again, that's why I say make friends with your ego as well. Listen to the voice that's been said because it can help.
It's not to say we listen to it and do what it says, but it's to give it recognition.
Yes.
I see you. I hear you. Thank you for this flag.
Yeah.
So that I might make friends with it, feel better with it, and move through and transmute it.
Brilliant. That is powerful. That is really powerful. That's a great distinction, and a great distinction about the feelings as well and the heart. And I know about that. The HeartMath Institute. I look at a lot of stuff in the HeartMath Institute that talks all about the power of the heart, and it is a brain in and of itself. The head, the gut and the heart, the three brains. And we need to tune into those three areas of the body as well. And when they're all working together, that's when we're in harmony and we're whole and complete, as they say. But yeah, it's very intriguing. But what I wanted to say as well is, when you were talking about the mirroring as well, we as human beings can actually help each other. And so getting rid of this competition and being curious about the other person, we can learn if we're open to the curiosity and learning what is it about that person that's triggering me or that I want that person has. Because it's always something inside of us that we're lacking or that we value, right? So if we're triggered, it's something that we're lacking, right? And I think we can just learn so much from other people, Cody.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing is, when you start to understand that like you actually aren't lacking anything because your soul is recognizing something within you that does already exist.
Yes.
You are perfect and whole just the way you are today in this moment.
Yeah.
You have everything at your fingertips. Everything that I have, you have.
Yeah.
How does your soul express it within your divine purpose, your divine path? May be different than mine. But you have all the things. We all have all the things. They are all the same. It's just each person uses them and expresses them differently. It's a muscle. Some people have practiced a certain part of it more than others. You know, you look at some people and you're like, how does this person sit like that for hours and meditate? Well, they've practiced that muscle. Does that make me a bad meditator? Does that make me I'm not as good a meditator as that person? No. I just haven't exercised that muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about the practice and rewiring the brain and creating those neurons, creating those pathways. So it's, if you know the saying, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So so I really get that, using that muscle to create the neural pathways in your brain and to make it automatic then, and create those new routines, those new habits to empower you so that you can use them. Tell us, Cody, how do we find our purpose? I'm sure you're asked this question 101 million times, but how is it? What is our purpose? Does it have to be something massive or small? Just to give people, because we have to have something to live for, don't we?
We do. Well, and so here's the funny thing, because so many people say, I don't have a passion about something. I don't know what my purpose is. And you know what? That's okay. Because your purpose is to experience. I remember the very beginning seed of what human life is experience. I remember laying in the grass one day and getting real close to the ground and looking at each individual blade of grass on this beautiful sunny day. And a little bug would walk by and a little ant. And I'm just watching the grass, and the grass would slowly move. And I'm observing it. I'm observing it. I had no other purpose in that moment other than to observe it, observe myself observing it.
Beautiful, beautiful,
So it can be the tiniest of moments, and that is what your purpose is. It's experiencing. Experience life, whatever that looks like for you, then you're doing it.
Beautiful. I love that, because I really believe that we're here on this planet Earth to learn who we are, what triggers us, what makes us do the things that we do. This is who we are, all the different sides of us. We talked about the different parts of us. So we have all these different, the mammy, the warrior, the victor or the victim, right? We've all these different parts of us, and when we can observe and identify them, and this is when we can start to have control and empower ourselves, when we can see and observe. But we have to observe them first, and we need to slow down and be in the moment. So I love what you said, Cody. We're coming to the end, and I know that you need to go very soon. So Cody, where can people find you? Give us your web address.
Before I give you my web address, I will add one tiny little thing. So, if you are having this moment where you're feeling like you don't have a passion and purpose, go outside, take your socks off, take your shoes off, and just feel the ground. Feel that you were created. Feel that you are here and that you are present, and feel that that's enough right now. And start there. That's one of my most favorite practices. When things get a little haywire, I just go check in with me. And that starts this new thinking, this new possibility. Oh, I'm here, I exist. That's pretty cool.
I'm alive, I'm breathing. And I do that. I practice that walking on the grass, and I love when the grass is damp, the dew, the morning dew on the grass is a great way to ground. And I do it as part of my morning routine as well, because it gets me grounded and energized for the day ahead. So it's a great practice to do, and especially in the world we're living in with all the technology and all the EMF everywhere as well, so it can really frazzle us as well. So I was going to ask you to wrap up and tell us an empowering tip, but that's it. So I think that's it. Is there anything else that you want to add? Because I do love to finish off with like one empowering thought or a tip or something for people to consider. So I'm sure you have loads of them. Is there any other ones that you want to share with people before we do wrap up?
Another good one.
I know you've loads of them, Cody.
It's hard to pluck one out of the universe, but the other one I would say that is pretty big for me is the power of observation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Taking a step back and imagining yourself watching yourself go through the thing that you're going through, so that you can, yes, still feel the emotion because you're going through it, but not end up going down the rabbit hole with it, where you're on the couch for 6 months eating, chocolate ice cream after a breakup, or, you're able to see the thing that's happening and process it while you're also experiencing it, versus just experiencing it and allowing it to take you and your life over. And this will also help you keep to your goals, your motivation. It'll help you keep, your passion and purpose on point, where you're moving towards the things that you love, because you're able to move with it versus having that thing stop you from your momentum.
Yeah, because it keeps the energy moving is what I can hear, and keeps the energy elevated. And that's where we need to be to keep us empowered, isn't it? Is to keep that energy and elevated. And that's really important. Oh my God, Cody, we could talk all day. You have so many tips and so many insights and so much wisdom, and a lot of stuff that you've observed through your lifetime up to this point as well. And maybe we'll get you back on in a couple of months' time again and dive even deeper into some of this work. I'd love to find out more about the TranscenDance, the movement, the exercise. I did see a video of you doing your dancing, and it just looked so free, just to be able to move like that. Not your body was just moving. It was very graceful. There's that word again. Yeah. So Cody, we'll wrap up. I know you do have to go, and you have a call coming up soon yourself. So give us your website where people can find you.
Yeah, so you guys can check me out at soulsproutspeaks.com. If that's too difficult to remember, you can just type in the codyfactor.com. That will work too, here soon in the next couple of days. And yeah, you can just come join me for virtual dancing. You can join me in person if you're here in the US. You can, check out any of the programs and awesome things on there. And there's many different ways to access support. I'm here for all of you, wherever and whatever you need.
I can really hear that you want to serve the people, Cody, and that's what you believe the work on this earth is all about, serving people and helping people have the voice, the voice that they don't have. So you're the voice for them rather. So I can really hear that. And you're very passionate about helping people to discover who they really are. I can really hear that, Cody. Before you go, I just want to say to people, we are actually working together in Russ Devan's group. I want to give a shout out to Russ Devan over in, where is he in the States?
Arizona
in the desert. Yes, that's right. So we have a Monday call every week, myself and Cody and Russ and a few others as well. So just a shout out to Russ. Hi, Russ. Delighted with that. So Cody, listen, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your time here, and thank you for being who you are in the world, because people do need you, and people need more people like you as well. So love supporting you and helping you get your word out there, and you're doing an amazing job. So thank you, Cody. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Okay, take care. I do hope you are enjoying these conversations, and to help me continue pushing these videos and audio podcasts together, I do have an ask. I do need support to help me to keep bringing you knowledge and insights. There is a Patreon link, patreon.com/empowering family health, or you can make a donation via PayPal. All the links are in the description and the pinned comment. You can do a one-off, or you can do a monthly support. So I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Take care.